Hey guys, hope your day is going well. It's VaulSC here. We're going to take a look at a game of infiNity, a battle report between the Morat aggression force and the operational subsection of left. So it's the two sectorials, Morats against O.S.S, and the mission is going to be capture and protect. So head over to the other side of the table, get the other guy's beacon, move it over, and hopefully end it up in the hands of your data tracker. Now, lately I've been showing you some army lists, so I'll just talk you through it. I've actually taken a photo of my list here before the game, all sort of set out, and my classified for this one is the In Extremis Recovery, which is the new version of Extreme Prejudice, where you've basically just got to pass a whip check as you're doing the coup de grace. This is a Kornak list, so order pools, I've got 10 plus 1 for Strategos level 1, and then 7 in the second group, but it's mostly Hungaries and Icodrons and all that sort of fun stuff, so I'll bring up the army list here. Just going down through it, we've got Kornak, Lieutenant, rack-to-rack Vulcan shotguns, Suryat HMG with the 10 bot to help them against hacking. A Yowgat Spitfire is the only quirky, weird thing I'm trying out with this list, and I don't normally run him, but I'm just going to see what difference it makes to run a Yowgat who has the 4 deployment level 1 now with the new rules, backed up by an OSNAT who can easily put the light smoke grenade on him, and a whole 10 orders worth of, well, 9 orders worth of moving out after that. Well, 10 actually, considering the Strategos from Kornak. And then the follow-up from Group 2 with Kiss, the Krakots, and so on. So the whole Hungary's linked with OSNAT, Preta, 3 Gakis, Q-Drone, of course, there as well for extra HMG. Quite like the Q-Drone. Kiss, R-Drone, double Krakot with both submachine guns just on either flank. It gives them a better chance of one of them picking up a really good attacking ability like Climbing Plus or Super Jump. Morat Hacker to buff up the Q-Drone, a couple of Icodrons as well for repeaters and cheerleading. Now, my opponent playing a really weird, bizarre list, which he even admitted it was a strange one. This is a list which has only 9 orders in it, and, most of you experienced infiNity players are cringing at that, because you really ought to be making it to 10 orders, otherwise it's just really inefficient. So he's got the proxy there with the Doctor, Mark II, Sniper, and Forward Observer double SMGs. Nothing wrong with that setup. It's just that if you're gonna take a Sophatect anyway, and he's investing in not only a Sophatect but 2 Yud bots for the Sophatect, I really don't think you need that proxy Doctor in there. What I would have done in his case is to have dropped the Doctor and just run the 2 proxy units there, and maybe even just bought a couple of extra net rods for the cost of that Doctor, so that he's got 10 orders sitting out there potentially. Anyway, this is his first game for trying out the Yadu link, so he's taking Shakti as his lieutenant. Interesting one there with the killer hacking device. There are 3 Yadus there, the HMG, number 2 combi rifle, Morat, heavy rocket launcher, and then he's trying out the Rudra gun bot, the 2-wound heavy bot with the K1 marksman rifle. Of course, a Danavas back there to back him up with assisted fire, the Sophatect we already talked about, and 1 net rod. So I really don't particularly like this list, but if you are going to run something like this, you've got to treat it like a pain train. You've got to treat it like, okay, try for first turn if you can, move it across the board, try and get as many kills as you can with the HMG, for example, and all the damage that group puts out, and try not to get hacked, or hit by a template while you do it. So that's sort of what we're playing in this one. Alrighty, let's get into the game. So just taking an overview picture of my table. Pretty typical one. Actually, I've gone for the bit more of the installation style here with the quadrant of big buildings blocking a lot of sight in the middle, but there's still some really massive fire lanes through here, as you guys will be able to see. So let's get a better color. Let's get a better color. Hang on. Also drink up some coffee. Love me some coffee. How about some green? So over this side we've got Aleph over here, and over this side we've got our Morats over here. I have, I believe, won the dice roll for the Lieutenant Initiative and picked the table side. I decided to set up over here because I quite like the height advantage, and also because I was happy with going either first or second, so I didn't particularly need the turn order as much, so I figured may as well go for the deployment advantage. These 2 beacon objectives here are kind of off-skewed a little bit. One of them is only 21 inches from the side, and this one's 21 inches from that side, so it's not, perfectly as the scenario prescribes. It's just that the big buildings were kind of blocking them, so we changed that up a little bit. You can actually see my deployments on here, so a lot of this is actually within range of 12 inches on the side. His deployment, he's starting to set up here, he's got these trucks and so forth. And if you're worried about the sniper tower up here, where you know, you can easily deploy something powerful shooting down, there's this whole building here blocking it, so this whole section of the table is in the shadow of that, so it's not really too bad. Okay, I took a quick photo of my buddies Isaac and Garth playing on the 40k table nearby. You know, 40k terrain isn't really ideal for infiNity, and I think a lot of people know that, but if you don't have any other useful terrain nearby, it's still playable. You could still get away with a decent game of it. Alright, so let's have a look. He's got a little helper bot back over here, but most people are in the center. This photo was taken before he remembered that he had for deployment level 1, so after I took the photo, he actually repositioned a bunch of guys, so I'm not really going to point them out just yet. In fact, I will point them out. So he's standing this model in for his Rudras gun bot here, even though it's the base size is slightly too large. Danavas back here. Now, the Yadu link is as follows. This is the heavy rocket launcher represented by an old school Agima. This Naga is representing Shakti herself. This Myrmidon is representing the HMG Yadu, and this other Naga here is representing the combi rifle number 2 Yadu link. So they're all going to be moving up through here, and we're going to be finding out that the Rudras actually has climbing plus apparently. And there's a proxy doctor back on the side there, also a net rod landing in the corner of this picture. So that's pretty straightforward. Another little look from the side at our Yadu friends. Then having a look at my side of the table, there's a Krakot on the extreme right hand side who's picked up, what did he pick up? I think +1 armor bioimmunity, the worst roll you can get. Then there's the Ica drone, Q drone, and R drone flash pulse over there. In the middle, we've got all the Gakis and the Preta just hiding, and they're not really going to be aggressive this game. They're going to be the order battery. They're going to be there to lob some smoke grenades, maybe move out of the end, but I'm not planning on being aggressive with them because I've got other things that can do that. Namely, Kornak and his boys, Bit and Kiss, the Krakots, the Q drone. Speaking of which, there's Bit and Kiss there, so Bit and Kiss if you haven't already seen that. Kornak is going to be on the left-hand side. This HMG is standing up here, but he's only got a line of sight through this angle, so the Yadus are going to have to come all the way through and really commit to this whole angle here. And once they start getting in range of this, that's when he starts to, you know, run into range of Bit and Kiss and potential hacking opportunities. This is a bit of a risk for me though, because the Soyet has religious, so if he starts to get shot at, he might not be able to jump at the cover if he takes some damage, because he might fail the religious willpower check. You can see McCrackot on the left-hand side picks up Dogged and total immunity, a much better roll than bioimmunity. And of course, we've got the Icadron hanging out on the side. Okay, so this is the photo where we realized that, okay, he should have had 4 deployment level 1, so I allowed him to, it's just a friendly game, so I allowed him to just move up a little bit further before the turn began. Okay, and then he's got his proxies coming down as a reserve, and my Yaugat is going to be on top of this little walkway up the top, prone, just in the middle, just so that nothing on the ground can see him, and then he'll be able to move up and take advantage of the height when he's launching into it with the Spitfire later on. Also had forgotten to place my Morat hacker, so fair's fair. We forgot our opponent's 4 deployment level 1. I'd forgotten my Morat, so we're even. Data tracker is going to be Kornak in this case, and my opponent's data tracker is going to be Shakti, the Yadu special character. And then the game begins with the Danavas placing assisted fire onto the Rudras gunbot. Then he decides to move the troopers up to this building here and come up the wall with his Rudras. Is it a Rudras? Has it got an S in the end? I'm just going to go check Army Builder. It is a Rudra. It's a Rudras is the plural of gunbot, so it's a Rudra. Excuse me. Okay, so after spinning a couple of orders, he moves this thing all the way up on top of the building. And, of course, I had not really been studying O.S.S. I didn't realize that he had climbing plus. You know, I should have realized that he should have been able to get up there anyway, but unfortunately, my poor old Yaugat is now going to get shot at by the Rudra. I might even do a little sectorial review video later in the week or next week about O.S.S. because I find them quite interesting, but I'll have to study them a bit more. Now, Weirdly enough, the Rudra actually loses the face-to-face roll against the Yalgat. Crazy, I know, right? So the Rudra is getting +3 link bonus, +3 burst bonus. He's ignoring any cover that the Yalgat may or may not have, and the Yalgat's firing back at a single shot at +3, and the Rudra just rolls like 2s, 3s, 4s on his 4 dice with his Mark 12, and fails, but he passes the armor save, and he did have an additional wound anyway. Then with the second shot, I believe that the Yalgat gets hit 3 times, but miraculously passes all 3 armor saves, crazily, and lives. And then the final shot does take him down. So this Yalgat, although he was poorly positioned, ended up wasting quite a lot of orders there for our friendly Aleph foe. There he is there on the top of the building. Next up, just continuing to move the troops up. I don't know if this is really the best idea. I mean, we should probably just pause here a moment and just sort of put my thoughts out there that if you're going to be just going full balls to the wall with a pain train, I really feel like you should be going just up the guts, like right up the center of the table, moving into lanes of fire without bothering about cover, and just moving your best troop at a time, because you've got that additional wound. You're easily going to win face-to-face rolls with your massive buffs, and you want to really cause a lot of damage, because if you only get 1 or 2 kills, I mean, this is a 9 order list against a 18 order list if you count Strategos, so he's actually at a order deficit of 2 to 1. So advancing slowly and cautiously is not really what you should be doing with a massive link like this. Just to show off, my opponent decides to use Climbing Plus to go underneath the bridge and actually hang from the bottom of it. I don't even know if that's legal, but it's cool, so I hope it's legal. I think that's really fun. And then sets up his heavy rocket launcher on top of the building tower there. The Rudra moving to the edge here, but not quite fully to the edge, because then he would have come into line of sight of a few people he didn't want to come into line of sight of. We're also moving the Sophitek's little helper bot, his Yudbot, over to nearby where the link is, just because he wants to be able to repair things after they get hit. Okay, and then it is Morat turn 1, because he's really been fluffing around and not really achieving a lot. So this Morat, after realizing he can get this way up the stairs without coming into line of sight of anybody, this model here is prone, by the way, he does so. So that happens. The other Krakot stays where he is, otherwise he would have come into line of sight. So the Q drone, after receiving assisted fire from the Morat Vanguard hacker, spends an order getting into position, then another order moving into line of sight of just the Yadu trooper with heavy rocket launcher who's positioned there. So Q-Drone is benefiting from cover, is ignoring the Yadu's cover. Both of them are at the correct range band. The Yadu has the Link Team ballistical bonus, but that is also subtracted by the mimetism. So at this point, because this is actually a fairly important face-to-face roll now, we are going to go to the dice calculator. So let me grab the Q drone. Unit Q drone. There he is there. He's going to be shooting his HMG at the optimal range band, and he will be benefiting from cover. The Aleph... Oh, do we even have a Yadu? I think they may have added them. It's under medium imagery. Yep, Yadu Troopers has a heavy rocket launcher, which he would use blast mode for, I suppose, and gets the +3 range band, does benefit from cover, but we're going to give this guy an extra +3 to benefit from assisted fire. That's how we're going to do it, because he's not going to ignore the actual armor bonus from cover. And he is in a link team, so we'll give him a +1 burst and +3 ballistic skill. So it should be 14s on 4 dice versus 13s on 2 dice, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just go double check that. Show modifiers, 14s on 4 dice, 13s on 2 dice. Yeah, so there's a 50% chance of the Q-Dro doing 1 or more wounds, 30% chance of me just having to spend another order, 20% chance of the Yadu hitting me and killing me. So this is pretty solid. If you're the Aleph player, you probably really shouldn't just be leaving your link team out in the middle of the table to take these shots, but the chance of the Q-Drone doing 2 or more wounds on the Yadu is only 17.44, and if you do inflict a wound on the Yadu trooper, he can just go prone by deliberately failing the guts check. So it's not the worst situation in the world for a left, but unluckily, my bad luck continuing from my last game to this game, the Q drone loses the face-to-face roll and is destroyed. So that was really annoying. Next up, I decided to use the OSNAT to fire a speculative smoke grenade over to this position, and she did manage to do that. It's 1 dice on an 11 to succeed if you're in the right range band, and that works. So Bit and Kiss then start moving around here to set up a picture, because I want to start hacking Shakti. At this stage, my opponent reveals a Mark II post-human sniper. And this is, I think, another mistake from our left player, because he does this when Kiss comes around the corner, the friendly drone that helps Bit. And this is just a G-Sync little guy with an adhesive launcher and a repeater. So I think he's springing the trap a little bit early. The sniper shows up and fires and completely misses, and then because Bit and Kiss haven't been affected, I can just go back to the OSNAT and throw down a secondary smoke grenade launcher, which is going to block that sniper. So a bit of a mistake from our left friend there. Note that there will still be a bit of a gap between these smoke grenades, and this is very deliberate, so that when Bit moves around to here, she'll be able to fire at a spot in the distance here, putting down the repeater. And that's going to allow me to hack the Yadus, well, the Shakti in particular, and not be in line of sight of the, what do you call it, the post-human sniper, if you guys can realize that. So here we go. Bit and Kiss indeed move through, and they indeed put down the repeater successfully, and that is when we can have a go at Shakti. So there's the repeater, represented by this little green pebble. Now, Shakti is, she's pretty good. She's a killer hacker, I believe. Let's just go have a look at her. Shakti, Yadu officer. Killer hacking device with Sucker Punch. So she's willpower 14, and she's going to subtract 3 from Bit's roll. But Bit is going to be +3 to bring her back to a base willpower, and -3 to Shakti. So the odds of beating Shakti there are pretty good, because it's, I think, 13s or 14s. What's Bit these days? She is willpower 13, so it's 2 dice 13s versus 1 dice on 11. And this does successfully hit Shakti and cause a wound to her. In fact, no, it doesn't cause a wound to her, it just makes her unconscious, because unlike the other Yadus, she's got 2 wounds specifically, and Maestro just reduces you to 0 wounds, which is really quite powerful against a 2 wound or more model. Ironically, if she did have 1 wound plus shock immunity in NWI, she'd be better off against that particular hacking attack, because Maestro can't kill her. I'd have to rely on a red rum, so that just happened. Now, feeling rather adventurous and rather courageous here, Bit now moves into range of the Rudra, which is a repeater. Just double checking that. Yeah, it's got a repeater. So that means that Bit will now be in hacking range of the Danavis, which is a bit more dangerous, because the Danavis has Maestro as well. Now I've got 2 dice against his 1 dice, but for him it's, I think, willpower 15, and I'm willpower 13. So it's a bit riskier. What I might have been better off doing is continuing to move Bit across the table and firing another picture next to the Danavis, because she doesn't have a killer hacking device, just a regular hacking device, and that way the firewall could have helped me out a little bit. Sadly, though, I managed to lose that face-to-face roll, and Bit actually does go down against the Danavis, so not a great position. Seeing that I had a whole lot of orders in Group 1, though, I decided there is a bit of a long-range move I could do with Kornak and his friends. There is a little bit of a wall here. I'm just going to go back to the previous photo, because they can move out on top of this obstacle here, and move next to the wall on top of it there, and then they can climb directly up this wall to land there. And that will allow the rack-to-rack with maybe 1 order remaining to move up through and actually vault this wall and fire the Vulcan shotgun at this guy here, and the template's going to blast out and actually hit the Yadu behind him. So I thought, well, it's a bit risky because my lieutenant's going to be right in front of him there. But if I do a lot of damage to the Rudras and the other Yadu there, I'm pretty sure the little Link team can hold their own, and he wouldn't have that many orders to come and combat me with. So I decided to give it a go, just to see what would happen. So Kornak moving out, it's going to take them quite a lot of orders to do this. Keeping the Suryat back for now, just because if he comes within range of the repeater of the Rudra, the Danavas can try and shut him down. He does have a deflector and he is BTS 6, but I don't really want to give him any free rolls. So eventually Kornak and the Raktarak climb up here. They have exactly 2 orders remaining. So Kornak actually, sorry, I'll just show you what happens here. The Raktarak just moving prone into here behind this wall, ready to get going. He's going to be moving up to this spot here later and actually firing a template out to collect that Yadu up there. But before that happens, Kornak's just going to be hitting the wall here and pulling back to get his Mark 12 to fire at this HMG. Because if I get lucky there and do 2 wounds to his HMG, that'll actually get me another kill and reduce the power of the Link team even further. What happens though is that Kornak gives that a go and doesn't quite manage to kill the HMG. So then we do move in with the Raktarak up there on top, and what I'm able to do is shoot from this specific point here as I'm moving across the wall, and that's going to draw a line directly past here. The template's going to come off the side of the base at exactly that particular point, and it's going to hit his guy with the heavy rocket launcher. So unfortunately though, his heavy rocket launcher is able to shoot back at me, and choosing a pistol to do so, and the Rudra firing at close range. They have lost Shakti, who was not the Link leader, but they still have an extra burst each. The Raktarak going in at effectively Blistical 18 with 3 dice. Now, I was really hoping I'd roll something like a 12, 13, 14, 15, something decent, but his best dice roll was a 10. The other 2 rolls hit, but it would have been great to negate and win the face-to-face rolls of both of these combatants. Sadly though, although I did manage to destroy the Rudra, got rid of 2 of his wounds with the burning Vulcan ammunition, the other Yadu did manage to defeat the Raktarak, so the Raktarak goes down, meaning that I'll be going into my next turn without the Link there. It would have been great if I'd managed to position this in such a way that he'd be going into me and having to contend with Hari's team. Fortunately, though, he is in loss of lieutenant, because Shakti was the lieutenant, so that means that this turn will be a little bit easier to contend with. He decides to use the Sophitek to move this little Yudbot up the stairs, but I reminded him that there's still a repeater there that Bit and Kiss had sorted out earlier, and that repeater can still be used by the Morat Vanguard, so I was able to immobilize the Yudbot before he managed to reach Shakti and revive her. Just finish off that coffee. Alright, so the Link is reformed. He has 3 members of the Link. There are 3 Yadus. And this guy is going to be coming down the stairs a little bit. And he's eventually going to be getting his HMG over to this point here, because he wants to have a go at Kornak, to kill Kornak. And potentially some other members of the Morat force. So gets the HMG over to the top of the building here. And he's actually firing down at the OSNAT. And luckily for the OSNAT, she's able to fire a smoke grenade in response just on top of herself and survive, so that's good. At least we don't lose the Hungary's Link. Kornak is responding and firing his pistol and getting a couple of hits here, so he does inflict a wound on this HMG, but eventually, after several rounds of shooting, he's able to go after Kornak and destroy Kornak, which means that I'm going to be in loss of lieutenant, annoyingly. So here we go. There's the rocket launcher coming around the corner, whipping out the pistol, firing at Kornak point blank. Decided to defend myself rather than using the flamethrower, and eventually Kornak does go down. And then just repositioning his post-German a little bit so he can take out my my repeater there. He probably should have done that earlier so he could have moved the Yudbot up, but he had forgotten. And there we go. So my turn gets a bit awkward because a lot of my models are irregular even though I'm playing Morats, just because I'm running Hungaries and Icadrons and stuff like that. Now I am told, I don't know about this, but I am told that a Link team stays intact even if you're in loss of lieutenant. It's just that the members of your Link team are irregular if they're not Morats, and if I was to spend one of their irregular orders, it would break the Link team. So the Hungaries remain in the Link team and are not impetuous, I'm told, but I just can't do anything with them this turn. What I can do, though, is move the Krakot Renegade up the stairs and get into a bit of a fight. I've got the other one on the other side of the table as well, but this particular Krakot is able to move in here and start making close combat attacks with his chest mine. He does have dogged and total immunity, so for the first attack is a berserk roll, then he goes dogged, then he starts making normal rolls just to try and take out this Yadu trooper. And once this guy is successfully destroyed, moving up here to fire his submachine gun right into the face of the other Yadu, does wound him, but then is destroyed by a successful face-to-face victory by our last remaining Yadu up the top there. So Krakot does go down. Elsewhere, we've really just got a Suryat, which is moving into a better position and going into suppression fire. He's doing this so as to get a line through here to defend my objective. My opponent's only got one more turn, and I'm suspecting he's going to try and move something through here to take the objective, so at least the Suryat will be a bit of a speed bump to slow him down. Now, he's only got about 5 orders, but the proxy, now moving forward in the final left turn, getting over to here into position, just so he can just come outside of the cover and have a go at the Suryat, and firing at him. This is a bit of a dangerous firefight. In fact, we might even just get out the dice calculator for this again. There is a bit of a... yeah, let's go to a left. Active player. Let's find the post-human. Proxy Mark 5. Is that the right one? Forward Observer 2 SMGs. Yeah, yes it is. Okay. So, range is good. He's got +3. He's got the submachine with AP mode. I've already taken a wound with a Suryat. He's got cover, and there's no additional modifiers, so it's just the 2 submachine guns, and then the Suryat. In fact, we might have to put in a modifier for suppression fire. So let's find heavy infantry. Suryat, attack. He's got a HMG. And the range is 0 range band, just because we're counting suppression fire there. He does have cover. I think what we'll do is we'll go and take a -3 away from the post-human, right? So it should be Ballista Skill 10 on 4 dice versus Ballista Skill 10 on 3 dice, basically, is what I'm feeling there. Show modifiers. Oh, I didn't have the burst, so we're going to change the burst value to 3 and then roll the dice. Yeah, so it's pretty close, like I thought. Net BS is 10, so it's covers -3, range is +3, suppression fire is -3. He's got some armor there. Net BS is 10. I'm not too sure if he is counting the armor piercing. He's got AP mode there, and then reactive model BS 13 -3 straight to 10s. Yeah, I mean this does look about right. It's 35% chance of taking that last wound off the Suryat, as you guys can see over here. 40% chance of the post-human just having to keep trying again, and only a 25% chance of the Suryat actually taking the wound off him. He does have NWI though, so this is pretty likely to succeed. It's just a bit risky. So what actually happens in the game is that the post-human does win and the Suryat does go down. He then moves over to the objective. There's a little bit of a gap there, doesn't quite make it. So spends another order grabbing it and moving away, and eventually moves out over to here. So in the final turn here for Morats, the other remaining Krakot moves through with his impetuous, but doesn't quite come into line of sight, doesn't quite have an angle there. And then I have the brainy idea of moving out with my OSNAT Hungary's Link team to try and put a smoke grenade down on him and then kill him in close combat and then grab the enemy beacon to win the game. So I'm moving out here, putting down a smoke grenade, realizing there's still a Yadu trooper on the roof that's not prone. And then after doing all of this, realized, oh, hang on a sec, I've got a spare order in group 2. Why don't I just have a go at it with the Krakot? Because I don't need him anymore. If he dies, it doesn't really matter. And then the Krakot moves over there with a shock round and just kills the post-human anyway. So I should have done that first, really. But the game is now a draw, but I could win by either getting the beacon or completing my classified, which is effectively, you know, just do a extreme prejudice on an enemy model and pass a whip check. So all of the Hungaries, OSNAT moving into this cloud now, and there's still a Yadu up here, so just the OSNAT moving out by herself, throwing down a smoke grenade, or at least shooting him, or something like that to defend herself. So she does put down the smoke grenade to block his line of sight. And then it's just a matter of going for the objective. But sadly, at this point in the game, realized that I didn't have enough orders left to grab it. I would have to actually move twice without defending myself just to pick up the beacon, and there's a post-human sniper there. So OSNAT moving around, miraculously the post-human sniper misses, and then spending the very final order, moving over to the objective to grab the objective, and I have to hope that the post-human misses and the Danavas behind the truck misses, because there's a Danavas right over here. What happens is the Danavas does indeed miss, so it just comes down to the post-human only. Post-human decides to go for a nanopulsar instead of a multi-sniper shot, and it just comes down to whether I pass the BTS check or not. And I failed the BTS check, so the game is a draw. So, a bit of an interesting game. I thought my opponent's list was a little bit weird and not particularly well put together. I made a couple of mistakes, I think, with the way that I used Bit and Kiss, and obviously at the end there, I should have just activated the Morat, the Krakot first, and then done something else with the Link team. Maybe going to try and find a corpse that I could actually go and eat up. My army list didn't have Dr. Worm in it, as you guys realize, so I probably would have done a bit better with Dr. Worm, would have been a bit more useful. Because I could have revived the Q drone, I suppose, after losing it against the rocket launcher, although rocket launcher you do burn to death some of the time, which did indeed happen in that game. But it was a fun one. I always like to crank out the Morats, even though they're not super strong, but I feel like I made a couple of mistakes this game. My opponent did as well. Yeah, hopefully coming out with a bit of a review of O.S.S. pretty soon, detailing what's in the sectorial and what I think of them and what sort of lists you can build. Keep your eyes peeled for that one.